Get away from my daughter. The voice hit me like a slap. I flinched before I even looked up, hands still hovering near the wheelchair's armrest. I wasn't touching her. I swear I wasn't. Mr. Big Money stomped toward me, blue suit shining like it had somewhere better to be. His eyes burned through me like I'd stolen his name. You don't go near her. Ever. I swallowed the heat rising in my chest. I hadn't done anything. Not this time. I saw her leg twitch. I said softly, I think I can help. He laughed, loud and bitter. Help? What you? You're filthy. You sleep on sidewalks and beg with herbal trash. My jaw clenched. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to break. I've been called worse. But never in front of someone who looked at me like she was listening. Dad, stop yelling, she said. Her voice was quiet. Real quiet. But it cut him off like a razor. He looked at her like she'd lost her mind. I want to hear him, she said again, eyes still locked on mine, not in fear. Not in pity, just curious. I nodded slowly, heart pounding. Your toes moved? Left foot? She blinked. You saw that? Yeah, and I've seen it before. Microspasms like that, they mean there's still nerve hope. Maybe not enough for doctors to bet on, but enough to work with. Work with? Mr. Langston's voice cracked. You think this is some back alley magic trick? She's had the best specialists in the country, and they gave up. That slipped out sharper than I meant it to. I felt the shift in the air, like I'd touched a wire I wasn't supposed to. She's my daughter, he snapped, not your experiment. You think I'd trust her to some dirty, broken kid with a backpack full of weeds? I turned to her. I'm not asking for trust. Just a chance to talk? She looked down at her legs. One hand gently touched her thigh. I saw her fingers press, searching, hoping. Can you show me? She asked. He exploded. Absolutely not. Ava, he could be dangerous. He's not even legal to be on this property. I said I want to hear him, Dad. She said it. Like steel wrapped in velvet. I knew then, whatever cage he'd built for her, she wasn't staying inside it. I looked back at him. You saw my skin first. That's fine, everyone does. But she saw movement, and that's more important. His mouth opened, closed, his hand twitched toward her chair like he might roll her away himself. You should go, he said to me, tight-lipped. Before security makes it official, I picked up my backpack. I didn't turn my back on him. I've learned not to, but I looked at her. Just her. I'll be across the street if you want to talk. She nodded once, and just like that, I walked away from a man with everything: money, power, a suit that probably cost more than my whole life, and felt more seen by the girl beside him than by anyone in years. I want security here now. Now, his voice echoed hard off the glass walls. The kind of voice that gets what it wants without asking twice. I didn't move. My feet felt like they'd grown roots into the concrete. My fists clenched around my bag straps so tight I thought they'd snap. Sir, please. A guard jogged over, hand resting near his belt like I was about to pull a weapon. Langston's fingers stabbed the air between us. This boy's harassing my daughter. I want him off the premises. Harassing? I stared at him, my heart pounding so loud I thought they could hear it. I opened my mouth, but the words tangled. Then Ava's voice cut through. Stop, just stop. She sounded tired. No, not tired. Fed up. The guard hesitated, eyes flicking. Between us. I finally found my voice. I wasn't harassing anyone. I said I could help. Langston barked a laugh. Cold. You think you're special? You think you know more than the doctors I paid 6 figures for? I forced my breathing steady. I taught myself from herbs, from healing, from watching what the rich waste. His face twisted. Oh, great. And next you'll tell me you learned surgery on TikTok? I hated the way my cheeks burned, the way his words tried to shrink me. I met his eyes anyway. No, I learned from watching people hurt, people no one helps. Ava leaned forward in her chair. If you can help me feel my legs, I don't care who you are. Langston spun on her. Ava, he's manipulating you. That's what people like him do. People like him? She said, her voice sharp now. What does that mean, Dad? He froze a second too long. I saw it, that flicker of panic behind his anger. I mean beggars, liars, con men. I shook my head. No, you meant exactly what you said. The guard shifted awkwardly. Sir, do you want me to get him out of here? Ava's voice cracked like a whip. Don't touch him. The guard paused. I could feel his discomfort, like he wanted to disappear. I took a breath. I'm not begging. I'm offering. Because I saw hope where your doctors didn't bother looking. Langston stepped closer, and I smelled his cologne, sharp, expensive, choking. Don't you talk to me about hope? You don't know what that word means. Every part of me screamed to shout back. But I didn't. I let silence answer him. Let it fill the space until it got too heavy for him to stand in. Ava looked at me. Really looked. Could you really help? I nodded once. I can try? And I'd try whether your dad watched or not. Langston's fists clenched at his sides. Enough, this ends now, but for the first time I could see it. He wasn't just mad. He was scared. The guard's voice cracked like dried leaves under a boot. Open it. I looked down at my backpack, my hands tightened on the straps. I'd carried that bag through rain, hunger, nights colder than honesty. I'm not hiding anything, I said. Langston stepped closer. You approached my daughter with God knows what in there. If, you're legit, prove it. I dropped the bag on the bench. The zipper rasped like it didn't want to open either. I peeled it back slowly, carefully, not because I had anything to hide, but because I knew what they expected to find. Weapons, needles, stolen phones, not crushed lavender, not hand-stitched pressure wraps, not oil blends labeled in my handwriting. The guard leaned in, his hand still hovering near his belt. He picked up a jar, sniffed, looked confused. That's for nerve inflammation, I muttered. Helps with circulation when you don't have mobility. He glanced at my sketchbook next, flipped a page. More sketches. Nerve lines, pressure points, homemade diagrams of the spine. Where'd you learn this? He whispered. I met his eyes. No school, just pain. I let that sit there. Pain teaches you things privilege never will, Langston scoffed. Loud. Enough for the hallway to echo. Oh, come on. This is a performance, a street act. You're just smart enough to be dangerous. Ava's voice slid in quiet, but sharp. So was your startup once, remember? His head snapped toward her. Excuse me? You pitched people with nothing but a sketch and a mouthful of confidence, she said. Nobody questioned your worth because of your clothes. Langston went silent. Not because he agreed, but because he didn't have a comeback clean enough to say in public. I looked at her, just for a second. That girl saw more than half the doctors I'd met combined. Why do you even carry all this? The guard asked, quieter now. Because when you sleep outside, I said, no one brings you Band-Aids or ibuprofen. And when someone you love needs help, you either learn how to help or you watch them suffer. I chose the first one. The guard blinked. Looked down again at the bag like it made less sense now than before. Langston crossed his arms. Even if this isn't a scam, which I doubt, it doesn't matter. You're not certified. Not a doctor, not a therapist. You're a liability. I turned toward him, kept my voice steady. I'm not trying to take your daughter from you, sir. I'm trying to give her back something you stopped believing was possible. His jaw twitched. Watch your mouth. No, Ava cut in firm. He's right. Silence dropped over the hallway like a curtain. I haven't felt hopeful in months, she said. Not until today. That should mean something, Dad. Langston's face flushed. You've got no idea what kind of pressure I'm under. No, I said. You've just never had to carry it from the sidewalk. I zipped my bag slowly, not rushing. Not apologizing. You done checking my humanity? I asked the guard. He gave a slight nod. Almost respectful, almost. I slung the bag over my shoulder. It felt heavier now, not from the weight, but from what I knew I'd just risk showing them. Truth scares people more than lies ever do. I heard the soft whir of wheels before I saw her. You came. Her voice was small but sure. I stepped out from behind the pillar. My heart was racing faster than my feet had when I ran from cops. You shouldn't be out here, I said. He'll be looking for you, she shrugged. He doesn't own me. The night air smelled of rain and exhaust. I kept glancing toward the hospital doors. "Do you really believe you can help?" she asked, eyes locked on mine. I let the question hang. I could have said yes, could have sold hope like a street preacher. But I wasn't here for that. "I know what pain looks like," I said, voice low. "And what people ignore because it's easier for them not to see it." She looked down at her lap. "No one talks to me like I'm a person, except you." That hit harder than anything her father had said, because I'm not allowed to forget what being treated like less feels like, I said. "I see you because I know what it's like to be invisible." Her fingers brushed the edge of her chair. "You don't know me." "No, but I see you anyway." She blinked fast. I saw it, how much she wanted to believe me. Everyone acts like I'm fragile or broken or a project to fix. I don't see broken. I see someone trying to be heard. Same as me. The wind picked up. I tightened my grip on my bag. "Your dad's not gonna let this go," I said. "I don't care. If you can help, I want you to try." I shook my head. "You don't get it. He's powerful. He could bury me if I take one wrong step." She gave a bitter laugh. "He's been burying me for a year. In doctors and therapists, in silence. I'm done with it." I stared at her. Brave didn't even cover it. I don't have fancy tools. I don't have a license. Just my hands, my herbs, my eyes. I don't need fancy. I need honest. That broke something in me. I didn't even know I'd been holding on to it. "I'm scared," I admitted, not of trying. "Of what happens if I fail you?" Her voice softened. "You're the only one who's ever said that out loud." A car door slammed in the distance. I flinched. "I should go," I said. She nodded, but her eyes stayed on me like she was memorizing my face. "I'll find you again," she whispered, and somehow I believed her. I didn't see the video at first. I felt it, the looks, the whispers, the way people crossed the street faster. When I walked by and then I saw it in my face, frozen on some stranger's screen. His voice louder than I remembered. "Get away from my daughter." Over and over, shared and reshared. The rich man shouting down the street kid. I couldn't stop watching. Couldn't stop hearing it. The part they all latched onto. The part that made me the villain and the victim at the same time. Later, I heard about the meeting. I wasn't in that room, but I could imagine it because I've been in enough rooms where people talk about you like you're not human, you're trending. For all the wrong reasons, Langston. I pictured the investor's voice, cool, sharp, like cutting glass. "This is out of context," Langston snapped. "That boy's dangerous. He's manipulating my daughter." A pause, thick and tense. "You're screaming at a disabled boy." Someone else said, voice low but firm, "He's not disabled." Langston shot back. "He's a hustler, a street act." "Do any of you even know what he's about?" I imagined his face red, hands clenched, trying to hold on to control like water slipping through his fingers, and then, "Ava." I knew how she'd sound before I heard the words. Calm, stronger than he ever expected. "No, Dad, he's the only one." Treating me like I'm more than a chair. Silence. I bet it hit like a punch to the gut. "You're making this worse, Ava." "No, the truth makes it worse. You just don't want to face it." I closed my eyes, leaning against the cold brick wall behind me. I could almost feel that boardroom crack. The empire he built shaking because his mask slipped. And the world saw what was underneath. I heard bits through open windows. Phones on speaker, people talking like I wasn't 2 feet away. Langston's PR nightmare. Videos gone viral. Did you hear what his daughter said? I didn't want this. I didn't want fame for being shouted at. I wanted to help, but now I was a headline. A lesson, a symbol people could retweet and forget. Later, I imagined. His voice again, quieter this time, but just as bitter. "You're ruining me, Ava. Do you even care?" "I care that you care more about your name than about me." And that, right there, was the truth he couldn't unhear. I heard his steps before I saw him, heavy, determined, like he could crush what he didn't understand. He stopped a few feet away, breath tight. "Why her?" He said, voice low but hard. "Enough to cut glass." "Why us?" I kept my hands still. My pulse wasn't as calm because she listened. He barked out a laugh that had no joy in it. "Listened? That's your reason?" Kids like you don't do anything for free? So tell me, what's the real angle? My fists curled. I forced them open again. I'm not trying to scam her or you or anyone. No one gives something for nothing, he snapped. What? Do you want? I met his eyes. I didn't flinch. Respect. For once, he stared at me. Like the word tasted bitter on his tongue. You think I owe you that? I kept my voice steady. I think we all owe that to each other. But people like me, we have to earn it twice. And it's never enough. His jaw clenched. You don't get it. You don't know what it's like to have to prove yourself? I cut in. To be looked down on because of something you didn't choose? Oh, I get it. I get it every day. His face flushed. His hands twitched like he didn't know whether to fight or fold. I don't know how to give that to someone like you. He said finally. The quiet after that felt louder than his shouting ever did. Then maybe start by not calling me someone. Like you, I said. His breath hitched. Just for a second. Like maybe he heard himself for the first time. You think you're better than me now? No, I think I'm trying to be better than what you expect. He looked away. The first time he didn't look at me like I was dirt. Or danger, just confusion. I don't trust you, he said. I don't need you to, I replied. I just need you to let me try. For once, he didn't have a comeback. I watched him walk away. No threats. No orders. Just a man who didn't know what to do next. And somehow that felt like a win. My hands shook as I opened the little jar. Not from doubt, from how much this moment mattered. I need you to breathe with me, I said. Slow, like you're trying to make the world quiet. She nodded, eyes wide but steady. I dipped my fingers into the mix. Herbs, oil, what little magic I believed in. This might feel strange at first, I told her. That's okay. She didn't flinch as I touched her legs. Just watched. Me like no one ever had. Like I was the first person to see her and not the chair. Close your eyes, I whispered. She obeyed. Her breath matched mine. Slow, deep, reaching for calm. I worked the oil into her skin, finding the spots where nerves should wake up. I didn't think about the hospital or her father, or the cameras that might be watching. Just her. Just... Now... I feel ... Tingling, she said, voice soft, almost scared of hope. I smiled, though I knew she couldn't see it. That's not the herbs, I said. That's your body finally being believed in, her breath hitched. A tear rolled down her cheek. No doctor ever said that, she whispered. They saw a patient, I said. Not a person, she opened her eyes. Met mine, and for the first time I saw fire there. I want to feel alive again. I swallowed hard. Then don't stop fighting for it. Her lip trembled. I don't know how. Let me show you. I guided her hands to the spots I'd been working. Press here. Gently, then here. Like you're reminding your legs they belong to you. Her hands shook, but she did it. And when she smiled, small, but real, I felt stronger than I ever had. The lights hit my face, first bright, harsh, like they wanted to burn through me. Microphones shoved close. Too many voices at once. Mr. Langston, is it true you tried to have him removed? Why did you treat him like a criminal? Langston's mouth opened, then shut. His eyes darted to me. To Ava, to the crowd, I stood still. Let him feel the weight I carried every day. He cleared his throat. His voice cracked when he spoke, because I couldn't see past his skin or his clothes. The air seemed to still. Cameras clicked. I swallowed hard, heart loud in my ears. Now he sees me, I said, steady as I could, because the world forced him to. Ava rolled forward, closer. He didn't just help me, she said, voice stronger than I'd ever heard. He healed what silence left broken. I almost forgot to breathe. A reporter pointed at me. How did you know how to help? I didn't. No, I said. I hoped I tried. I listened to what no one else wanted to hear. Another voice. Are you angry at Mr. Langston? I let that sit a second. I'm tired, I said. Tired of having to earn humanity in someone else's eyes. Langston flinched like my words hit him harder than any fist. I saw the reporters scribble. I saw them hunger for more, but I was done explaining myself. Ava touched my hand. Small. Warm. Let's go, she said quietly. and for once no one tried to stop me. Again? I asked gently. My hand hovered near her shoulder, not touching. Never unless she asked. Ava gritted her teeth. Again, her legs shook. I watched the tremble rise from her ankles to her jaw. But her eyes, they didn't shake. Don't lock your breath, I whispered. Breathe like you're daring gravity to let go. She exhaled like she hated the floor beneath her. Then, help me up. I froze for a beat. She'd never said it that direct. My heart pounded as I reached for her hand. You sure? A nod, not pride, not stubbornness. Something deeper. I held her wrist as she gripped the bar. She pulled. Slow, broken, beautiful. Her knees wobbled. I felt her fight it like every insult she ever swallowed was in her muscles now. Clawing upward. And then. She stood. I didn't cry, but something cracked inside me. She blinked fast. I'm standing. Yeah, I whispered. You are. The door opened. Langston. He stopped like someone had slammed an invisible wall in front of him. No words. Just eyes darting between her legs, her face, then mine. You said I'd break her, I said. Turns out, you were the one holding her down. He didn't answer. Didn't have to. Ava's voice cut through the silence. Steady, sharp. I walked because someone beneath your status believed in me. Langston took a step forward, then stopped. She's not yours anymore, I said. Not in the way you thought. Ava didn't even look at him. I feel taller than I ever did in your world, she said. Langston looked down at the floor like maybe it had something to say back. He left without another word. Ava leaned on the bar again. Her legs still trembled, but she smiled like the shaking was just proof she'd earned this moment. I thought healing would feel like light, she said quietly, but it feels ... Leaving, I just nodded. No wisdom left in me. Just awe. You did it, I said. No, she said. We did. The stage lights were too bright. I could barely see the crowd beyond the first row of faces, but I heard them polite clinks of silverware, whispers dying down. The hush that comes when rich folks are ready to pretend they're listening. Langston cleared his throat at the podium. His voice boomed, confident like always, but there was a crack in it tonight. A crack only I could hear. I want to thank you all for supporting our foundation tonight, he said. And I want to thank someone who taught me more than any business deal or boardroom ever did. My chest tightened. I kept my hands at my sides, fingers curled. I didn't trust them not to shake. Langston turned toward me, his voice softer. I froze that day because I saw power where I least expected it. I let the silence hold a beat, let them feel it. Let him feel it. Then I stepped up. My voice was steady. Steadier than I felt. You didn't freeze because of my words. I said, you froze because you finally saw me. Not what I looked like. Me. There was a ripple through the room. A kind of breath that people take when they're not sure if they're supposed to clap yet. I kept going. You saw the boy you crossed the street to avoid. The kid you thought was a threat because he didn't have polished shoes. Because his skin told you a story you never bothered to check. Langston lowered his head. I watched him. And I didn't let him off the hook. Not this time. I wasn't trying to change the world that day, I said. Just one soul at a time. And that's when it happened. The clapping started. Slow at first. Then louder, real. Not the kind you give because you're supposed to, but the kind that says, we heard that. We can't unhear it. I felt Ava's gaze. I didn't have to look. I felt it proud. Solid? Like we were standing on the same ground? For the first time, Langston's voice, quieter now, almost lost in the applause. Thank you, Elijah. I nodded. No more words. Sometimes the real ones are the ones you don't say. Inside, I breathed. Deep, steady, I had stood on their stage. Under their lights, but I hadn't needed them to see me. They were just catching up.